We are here with Ivan Zoot. Hello, Ivan. Tell us about the men's clientele. Why is this such an important market that people need to tap into?
You know, there's almost 325 million people in America. Half of them are men, most of them have hair. If half your clientele is not male, you're leaving money on the table. And in this economy, no one can afford to leave money on the table.
So many people graduating cosmetology school are afraid of men's clippers. They're terrified, or men's clipper cuts. How can we embrace this market and eliminate the fear?
Well, the fear in this comes down to the margin of error. If you've got a haircut that's a quarter of an inch long, an eighth of an inch is half the haircut. If you've got 14 inches of hair and you're off by a little bit, no one will know. When that margin of error gets narrow, I think that's when professionals get a little spooked. The secret to success in the cosmetology industry is volume. If there's anything you don't know how to do, you got to do 100 of them. By number 104, you're going to have a level of confidence and a level of competence. And if that 104 was 104 different people, you've seen variety and you've seen volume. There's no substitute for volume.
So you took us on a little walk through the decades earlier in our conversation. Can you tell us about the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and what you think your predictions are for this new decade?
Certainly, it's kind of where have we been? You know, history is if we learn from history, we know where we're going. In this business, the history lesson is the 1970s in this business were Sassoon-based precision cutting. He taught us how to use a scissors because before that we only used a razor. He taught us how to use a blow dryer because before that we rolled it up and put it under a hood. The 80s in our business was all about perm. If it moved, we permed it. And the revenue that was generated by perming built the industry as we know it today. The 1990s was the decade of take-home hair care product, what we call retailing. All the major hair care product brands in our industry came into their own in the 90s. Those companies taught us how to retail, why to retail, and the revenue really sustained us through that period of time. The first decade of this century, boy, that was hair color. If it moved, we colored it. Baby boomers got gray. They backed away from perm because at the time the technology wasn't there. They chose color. Color, by the way, led us to long, straight, smooth hairstyles, which created some of what fueled the flat iron explosion in our industry. Welcome to the teens. This is the decade of male clients in the professional beauty industry. This is the decade of cosmetology, not barbers, but cosmetology professionals servicing male clients. And that's where the growth is for the next 8 to 9 years.
Now, if you could offer one piece of advice, what's one thing that you see people doing with men's cuts that's wrong, that can be immediately corrected? What's the one thing that you can offer?
As long as you're going to be in this business, whether you're a stylist, or cosmetology salon professional cutting men's hair, whether you're a cosmetology school instructor, supporting, whether you're a coach working for a chain salon, assisting in training, it all comes down to blending. Blending, 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 blending. It's about the transition from areas of shortness to areas of greater length. I don't care if it's a skin-tight fade on textured hair, a high-end type military type haircut, or a traditional what we'll call a buzz and spike like what mine looks like right now. It's all about that transition from short to long. Focus on blending at any level. Longer hair, finger length hair, what we call a banker's cut, that's blended with your fingers and scissors. That's what we'll call longer length blending. Mid-length blending like my haircut, that's all clipper over comb skills. And as we get into the shorter haircuts, that's all blended when the clipper blade comes right up against the head. That's short length blending. Those 3 degrees of blending are the foundation to successful men's haircut delivery.